This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, August 2nd, 2006, and this is episode number 134 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from MGMstudios.org. On the show today, I'm just going to be subliminally plugging MousePlanet.com. So on the show today is Mike Scopa of MousePlanet.com. Welcome, Mike, MousePlanet.
I am not chicken. I will not talk.
And also on the show is MousePlanet Len Testa of SmartFriends.com. Welcome, Len. MousePlanet.
How's it going, Matt?
Outstanding, MousePlanet. It's Wednesday, so we're answering your MousePlanet questions. So please feel free to email us your own questions at questions@wdwtoday.com. Our first MousePlanet question is from William, who writes, "Hey guys, love the show. I eagerly await each episode. I'm planning a trip to the world in January 2007. Last time we were there in 2002, we purchased a 7-day park hopper pass. I'm pretty sure we did not use all of the days, but I cannot be certain. Is there a way I can find out before I purchase my tickets for my January trip, or do I have to guess and buy tickets accordingly?"
Guess.
Yeah, there's really no way to know until you actually get there.
Yeah.
As to how many days are left, and Disney will tell you that. And I think in the previous show we discussed the difference of when you turn those tickets in, whether you want to turn them in for days or dollar credit, and I think we said that the days are a better value.
Right.
Great.
You go to get services outside the park.
Yeah, any of the parks they'll tell you. Yeah.
You got to think they don't do it for Disney doesn't allow some kind of process like that on purpose, so that I guess we'll over-purchase.
Well, how would they do it though? You'd need a card reader, right?
Well, I mean, you would think. I mean, every card, especially these days, anything that they're putting out now would have a serial number on it, and they could look it up, and it's all computerized, so they.
Well, yeah, but then it's a customer support issue. They got to pay someone to answer the phones. Yeah. I'm sure they're going to have other questions about ticketing, and that costs them money. And from their perspective, they've already sold the ticket, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So.
Our next email is from Jeff from Connecticut, who writes, "I'm visiting Walt Disney World soon. I plan on being at the parks for 3 days, but staying on site for a total of 5. Because I have an existing set of admission passes for my family with 1 day left on them, I only need to buy Magic Your Way passes for 2 days. In addition to the Magic Your Way passes for the 2 days, I purchased 2 days of the dining plan. Can I only use the meal vouchers on the days that I use the Magic Your Way tickets to get into the park? I'd like to use the dining plan on other days during my stay. Thanks in advance. If you answer my question, your podcast is extremely entertaining."
My guess is that he would have to use the dining. Well, I don't know. No, I guess.
No, we should be able to. Yeah, no way, no problem. No problem at all.
I'm thinking. I'm getting that confused with the Magic Your Way. No, I mean you can use them at any time, I guess. All right. Oh, wait, can you, Len?
Yeah, no problem at all.
Can't use them can you use them more than 14 days after the last admission into the park on your Magic Your Way? Yeah, I guess you can. That's a good question.
You're as long as you're checked into the hotel up through midnight of the day you check out, you're set. As far as the meal plan goes.
Okay, but what he's saying, it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but he's saying, let's say he has a 2-day key world key card, and on that card he's got his admission. He may also have that may also be his room key, and it also may be his it also has his dining plan on it. So, and that's for Tuesday and Wednesday. But let's say he doesn't use one of the sit-down meals until that Friday. Can he? Is
he still checked into the hotel?
Yeah, he's there for 5 days.
Yeah, so he's set. It's the meal plan and the tickets operate independently. The meal plan is tied to your hotel stay. The tickets the tickets are different. The tickets can still be valid when you've checked out of the hotel, but the meal plan is check in to check out to midnight that day.
Yeah, but isn't the meal plan tied in with his stay?
Only with the hotel stay, yeah. So if he checks in, let's say Tuesday afternoon at 3:00, he checks out Friday. He's got until midnight Friday to use his meals. Anytime between the time he checks in and midnight Friday, he's set.
But he said he's going to have it for 2 days. He didn't say he was going to have it for the length of his stay there. Is that correct, Matt?
Yes. He only bought the dining plan for
2 days. So that meant he had to book for just 2 days.
He said he booked it for 5 days.
So that doesn't make sense because when you get the dining plan, I thought that when you booked the dining plan, it had to be the same length of the stay of your, I mean, the same as your length of stay, and it's on a package. Now do you see my confusion?
I see what you're saying, because the more you're talking about it, the more...
Yeah, that's actually a good question.
Now you understand what I'm saying? That it sounds like
so is this Jeff?
Sure. I don't remember.
Let's have Jeff call us or email us in and explain how he did that.
Sure.
Yeah, or call us on the live show.
The next live show that we're going to be doing in August, you can more than welcome to call in and ask us the question again and let us know how. I'm sure we can figure out something by then. Our next email is from Bob Wall of West Bend, Wisconsin, who writes, I was wondering if the River Country Water Park area has been gutted of all its equipment, buildings, slides, etc., or was it just shuttered so it could reopen in the future?
Yeah, I hear that they made a decision abruptly, like one day it was running and one day it wasn't. Apparently because of some deep, dark, mysterious incident that happened on the island late one night. And so something apparently so terrible happened that they just left everything there the way it was, and no one has ever returned to it. What I'm told is, go with me on this. What I'm told is, if you're on the docks of the Wilderness Lodge late at night when the moon is full, you can still hear the echoes of. Scott freaking out. You can still hear the distant echo. Something going tragically wrong in the woods.
In other words, Bob, it's closed and
it's closed. We don't know why. Never coming back though. Pretty sure about that.
Our next email is from who is this email from? Joe Nosila? It's Joe.
It's Joe.
Joe writes, so it's love your podcast. I try to listen to it whenever I can. Here's a couple of questions for you. When is Disney going to realize that their times to make reservations really puts people living on the West Coast on a disadvantage? Just to make dining reservations, I have to wake up at 4 a.m. in order to get ready to make the calls. I also had to wake up early just to make the call to secure a spot on the 2007 Mediterranean Disney cruise. Shouldn't Disney either start the reservation system a little bit later in order to make it fair for us West Coasters?
No, this is what you do, Joe. Have a travel agent do this for you.
Exactly.
Next question. No, seriously, Joe. That's. I mean, I was at the Disney a few weeks ago, and Annette Owens did a presentation on how travel planners can help you, and she made a very good point. Do you really want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning if you're on the West Coast and make a call to make an advanced dining reservation? That's what they do. So my advice is to get a travel agent, and if you can, get one on the East Coast.
Yeah. Good tip.
Good tip. Our next email is from Sarah in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
Sarah.
Go Panthers. Hey, Sarah again.
Go Bucks. Whatever.
Just a question. I have a season pass and will be renewing it soon. If ever I wanted an insider's tour of Walt Disney World, is there a way that I could contact one of you guys once the summer is over of a day at the parks?
I
think we're all going to be down there for Mouse Fest, but the people who do the best tours are like Jim Hill, Lou Mangello, especially I'm sure if we get a few drinks in Jim Hill. And would have to start fairly early, but I don't think anyone's really objecting.
Guys too.
Exactly, yeah. The because Hill will get kicked out, but that would be hysterical. Like we go out. You know what we should do? This is what we should do for our show. We should do a Drink Around the World trivia tour with Lou and Jim of World Showcase. Could you imagine that? We would get to Japan and they would be hunting us down. City security would be like tackling us.
Helicopters,
There'd be people popping up from sewer grates. The frogmen coming out of the water. Exactly.
And we would be like, those handcuffs were used in previous film.
That's a sparkle of handcuff. Very interesting.
This ninja was 6 degrees separation from Kevin Bacon.
We should do that. That would be hysterical.
Did we answer the question?
Yeah, we did. The answer is maybe.
Yeah, maybe we'd do it. Yeah, I wouldn't say no.
We all have our price. Mine just happens to be 6 figures.
Is that the decimal point or no?
Mine's pineapple and wet.
Our next email is from Jonathan Cooper, who posts under the name DXWWF3 on WDWJ.com. Right, hey guys, I'm listening to your live show right now, and I've been a fan of your podcast for a long time now. One thing that I was reminded of while listening to the live show is the fact that you guys really don't like the Extra Magic Hours program due to the crowds. But I believe that the evening Extra Magic Hours at Animal Kingdom is one of the best things Disney has done in a long time. If you guys ever got to spend a great deal of time in this park at night, it might be my favorite park under the lights, and this is really the only way you can experience that. The lighting at Kelly River Rapids is fantastic. Primeval Whirl has a Big Thunder Mountain-like improvement. The Tree of Life is even more amazing, and I'm sure that Expedition Everest is great at night as well.
I like it too.
Well, Matt, you want to give your 2 cents? I'll give my.
I'll say that, first of all, one of your points was that the Tree of Life looks better at night. That's not a compelling reason for me, but really, I mean, I could see that as a novelty thing, kind of like going there once and doing it. Sure, I mean, I've done Animal Kingdom a few times, and that was enough. But the problem is that there's just nothing to do, whether it's night or not. And the other problem is that there's limited attractions in Extra Magic Hours. I still don't think the park is what bothers me.
Let's think again as to what the purposes of Extra Magic Hours are, and that's to offer guests opportunity to have access to attractions that they normally probably would not be able to do during the regular operating hours because of high crowds. Last year, my wife and I was at the Animal Kingdom for an Extra Magic Hour evening, and Matt, you're absolutely right. We had to make a choice as to which attraction we could do in that span because they were all overlapping, and if we went to if we did Kilimanjaro Safari, then we wouldn't be able to do this, or we wouldn't be able to do that. So the point is well taken that if you're going to have Extra Magic Hour evening events, then you should have them long enough so that the guests can enjoy those hours with the attractions. It really doesn't matter if you're there just to see. I mean, you're not there to see the lighting on Expedition Everest, which I understand is really cool, but you're there to actually enjoy Expedition Everest, and that means riding the attraction. So that's how I feel about the Extra Magic Hours, especially at the Animal Kingdom. They need more attractions.
By the way, speaking unrelated Animal Kingdom hate rant on mine, I just want to mention, I don't know if I've done it on the air yet. Animal Kingdom is possibly the worst park to go to, not in general, but when it rains, there is nothing open. You know what's open, Len?
It's a rainforest, Matt.
Dinosaur?
Dinosaur, that's one. There's only one other attraction that's open.
Tree of Life?
That's right.
No, Festival of the Lion King.
There's 3.
Yeah, there's 3. But
you're right, Matt.
But Safari, Kilimanjaro Safari, closed. Expedition Everest, closed. Everything in Dinoland except for Dinosaur, the Primeval Whirl, the other stupid attraction over there.
Triceratops Spin.
Thank you.
So what you're saying is you would prefer that Disney allow you to sit in the large metal canisters while lightning?
No, I would prefer that they close. If they need to close the park down if it's supposed to rain that day and they're anticipating heavy rain. I was there.
Dude, it's Florida. It's supposed to rain every day.
Dude, that's like the Magic Kingdom closing down everything except for Country Bear Jamboree and Dumbo wouldn't be one, and like 2 other attractions. I mean, you're talking about you only have. I mean, and then they say, well, you can go walk down the trails, and sorry, it's a rant I got on, and I'm sorry, but it's terrible what they do
Can't you just sit there and enjoy the rain and the nature and the quiet sounds and the plants and the...
Damn it, I want to be screaming and be on the edge of my seat, and I want to feel like I'm going to...
That's the problem with you kids today, overstimulated. You need to be able to just sit back, some nice chamomile tea, and enjoy the rain.
Anyway, for those of us who haven't had frontal lobotomies...
I was going to say, for those of you who have not yet attained Zen enlightenment like myself.
Our next email is from Michelle Lindemann of Illinois, who writes, we are DVC members, and my husband and I took advantage of the new meal package offer for DVC members from earlier this year. We didn't have the kids with us on this trip, but we could present either of our cards to pay for our meals. Both cards were linked to our account. It wasn't really a case of having 12 meals on one card or 6 meals on each card. This way, everyone has access to their meals at all times. When either one of us presented our card, they would deduct 2 meals from the overall account. It was very convenient because we both have access at all times.
Yep.
It's an interesting letter because we had back in May we had tried to figure out whether Disney, the dining plan, was differentiating between adults and children when it came to meal credits. And at the time in May, they were not. We actually had 2 grandparents and a grandchild stay in Scopa Towers and use the meal plan. And every time they did so, they paid for the child out of pocket. So what we did is we had them do 2 Disney signature meals over 2 days to use up the extra child credit and have and paid for it the adults with the child credits, and it worked. But since then, I've heard, and of course we posted this on the website. It's in the new version of the book, and we've heard that Disney might be starting to crack down on that now. But I don't know if they've made a systemic change to it to allow or to disallow the use of children's meals for adults, or whether they're just asking the servers to be a little bit more cognizant about what's going on.
Our next email is from Rich from Youngstown.
Rich.
Yo, Rich!
Go Penguins.
Hey guys, one of my favorite memories of going to Walt Disney World with my parents as a child has to be the Main Street Electrical Parade. Last I heard, the parade is on tour at one of the overseas Disney parks. Do you expect to ever see it in Orlando again? It could be a nostalgia talking, but I just don't think the current parade is quite as interesting.
Well,
I like Spectrum Magic.
yeah.
Hey, does anybody know what song they're playing at the during the Main Street Electrical Parade? Anyone? Anyone?
Baroque Hoedown.
Very good, Mr. Scopa.
And by the way, I think he's referring to, you mentioned Spectrum Magic Land, but I think he's probably referring to the afternoon parade.
Why would they do the Main Street Electrical Parade in the afternoon?
Oh, that's a good point. I don't know why I thought that.
Because the sun's usually out in the afternoon and it's bright. It really diminishes the effect of the light bulbs. I'm just saying.
Sorry, I'm still overheated about Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I know. See, again, you've not attained Zen enlightenment like myself.
But I like Spectrum Magic fine. I think that's great. I keep it
Yeah, I really like Main Street Electrical Parade, but Spectrum Magic's not bad either.
I like them both. I think Spectrum Magic has it's more robust music. I think that there's a little bit more color, but it's really nice to see the Main Street Electrical Parade come back. I think that
it's just a zippy song.
Come back. Yeah, it's been there before. It was here. It went. It came back. Now it's gone. It may come back again. They know it's a good thing, and they know there are a lot of people out there who are very nostalgic. So I would say it's a 50-50 shot of it coming back.
I mean, the Who is touring again, right? So anything can happen.
Our next email is from Jennifer from Susan City, California. Writes, hi guys, I listen every week and I truly enjoy it. Glad to know there are other Disney geeks like me out there. I'll be celebrating my birthday in September during the free dining, and I'm wondering which restaurant has the best fireworks viewing, Narcoossee's or California Grill? I currently have a reservation at the Grill for 8 o'clock p.m. on the day of my birthday.
Narcoossee's.
I hope you get...
My husband insists we go.
Yes, Narcoossee's not for the view of the fireworks, but for different reasons. It was a better choice.
I tried protesting, saying it was too expensive. He insisted.
Well, we answered this email actually back on one of our live shows. I think live show 3.
I think we did, right, Matt?
And I think our consensus was California Grill had a much better view.
Yeah, the observation deck, yeah.
Yeah, I think the issue with Narcoossee's is that there's that line of trees that might be in the way, and the viewing angle might be too oblique. But I like California Grill. I don't think you can go wrong there.
You're further away too, Len. Narcoossee's.
Yeah,
California Grill, you're right there. So.
Well, you're farther away, but you're an odd angle too as well.
They pipe in the music at Narcoossee's as they do at the California Grill?
I don't know. Good question. I think we were going to send somebody over to take a look.
Our next email is from Jennifer Morgan, who writes, I'm a DVC member. I'm going to Walt Disney World the first week of October. Is it worth it for me to buy an annual pass? Do you have an opinion on the DVC version of the dining plan? I know there is one, but I don't know much about it.
Well, the first question is, why would she need an annual pass? Is she going for more than 8, 9, or 10 days in the next year?
That's the whole email. So maybe you want to just tell her exactly why she would want an annual pass and why she wouldn't want an annual pass, Mike.
Well, if she purchased an annual pass, that would mean that she would get some Well, she's a DVC member too, so an annual pass obviously would be something to get if you were going to go more than 8, 9, or 10 days over the next year or so. It's also good to have because you then can become a Disney Dining Experience member, and that helps even if you're on the dining plan and you happen to order a little bit more than that's allowed on the dining plan, and you can get 20% off. I'm trying to think what else.
Well, basically, if she's
sounds-
if she's going to be planning enough, she's going to be in the parks enough days between the first week of October when she would start becoming a annual pass holder officially, and the first week of October 2007, then that would be worth it. I mean, she does get a discount being a DVC member, so that further makes it a better value.
Oh yeah, she gets 20%, 20% off. Is that what it is? I wish Newell was here. I think it's 20% off
Yeah, I
if
think
you're
so
a
too.
DVC member. And the other thing is that if you have an annual pass in your possession, then it's so much easier to justify going down again and again.
Oh yeah,
And
because your
just-
largest
yeah.
expenses, or one of your largest expenses, is paid for. Especially if you're getting, if you're staying off-site, and your
Oh, yeah.
hotel expenses aren't that much. Like I know, for example, I was looking at making a quick trip in September, and Southwest is offering $98 round trip flights out of Raleigh
Really?
to Orlando, and you can't drive for $100 to Orlando, not and back. So you get a relatively inexpensive room, and then with your tickets paid for, it's really not bad.
The Disney dining. She also had a question about the Disney dining plan, and of course that's available. She has to book it through the Disney Vacation Club member services. You can't just do it the old-fashioned way like the other non-DVC members can.
I believe so. Yeah.
And same price as other people. So you've got to, of course, there's an article, and I'm going to link to it in the show notes that Mike Scopo wrote about the Disney dining plan and how it pays out. And basically, Mike, to summarize it, you have to really make sure that you do your research and make sure you're taking advantage of the dining plan by ordering entrees and going to restaurants where the prices are going to be pretty high.
Right. Yeah, you don't want
yeah.
to get buffets generally aren't good deals.
There's a point that I had a discussion with Dave Marks a few weeks ago on this, and Dave and Jennifer were down there from Passport. They were down there, and they were looking at the Disney dining plan and trying to get an idea as to how to get the best value out of it. And one of the points that Dave made, and this is very, very important to know, you don't want to go to whatever restaurant you're going to and order the most expensive meal, because most of the time that doesn't mean you're going to get the best quality food or the largest amount of food if you happen to be looking for a lot of food. What you're looking for is you're looking to get the best deal, and that is getting something that you think you'll enjoy and not having to pay full price. And so you got to be really careful, because you can go to one restaurant, order the most expensive meal, and you're not really getting the kind of food you want. And that's something that people have to be aware of. And the other thing, Matt, is that when you're on the dining plan, it's probably a good idea to make your reservations for dinner, not for lunch. Don't waste your sit-down meals on lunch, because you're not going to get the better value at lunch that you would at dinner.
I know we're over our 20-minute quote-unquote limit, but I had to sneak one more email in from Lydia from Nashville, Tennessee, who writes, "I hate to burst Scopa's bubble, but Dole Whip was not on the dining plan when we were there in February. However, it is totally worth paying extra for it."
I think they've added it since then. They did a modification to the menu.
I held the resort at bay, and I said,
Exactly.
you got to put it on there.
At bay, you laid siege to the
Yeah, well, wait a minute now. I graduated to the Dole Whip float now, because when I was there in May, I remember having a conversation with Len. I was sitting on the Disney Inn. You remember that, Len? I was talking to you, and I said, "Hey,
Right.
I think that they're scrimping on the Dole Whip." So I went over there, and
That's right.
I pretended
That's
I was Len, and I was just watching people order Dole Whips. I'm thinking, they're pretty small. So I decided to get a Dole Whip float, which was an extra 67 cents more, but you got so much more for that 67 cents. So I'm graduating to the float.
Well, that's it for us today. This has been episode number 134 of Walt Disney World Today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit our website at www.today.com. You can also email us at questions@www.today.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, Mouse Planet, I'm Matt Hochberg, Mouse Planet. We'll see you on the next show.